Listen to this episode if you ever feel as a business owner like you have 12 thoughts at once. Like there is so much going on that you can never actually sit and feel true calm. Today, I am joined by Randi Halaway, and we dive into the inner workings of nervous system regulation, how to actually feel calm as a business owner, how to change your mindset and truly make a decision that means that you are going to live a different way. There is this narrative out there that being a business owner means that you need to run yourself ragged and overwork yourself in order to actually ever be successful. And it just isn't the case. Today, we are discussing all of the inner workings of this. You're going to leave with a newfound inspiration to really build the life and the business that you desire, because they both can coexist at the same time. I promise. Without further ado, let's dive in to this conversation. So, Randi, I feel like something that a lot of business owners struggle with is this idea of having to do it all. And they feel like because our list is forever long, always, that they do have to do it all. And it kind of causes overwhelm in that sense of just there are so many things on our list. What is your philosophies around an entrepreneur saying, like, how do people do it all?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying that we're creating in every single moment, whether we realize it or not. And we're creating from one of two places: chaos, lack, fear, overwhelm, ego, or love, truth, peace, regulation, intuition, power, right? And so at the end of the day, depending on where we're creating from is going to determine our results. It's also going to determine our come from. So as a human being, we've all kind of usually been around the block or the sun enough times to know that, I don't know, have you met anybody ever who has been able to do it all? I don't know if anyone's been able to achieve that yet, but yet the human race is still attempting this. So I would just ask, like, first and foremost, like, where is that coming from? Is that coming from this grounded, regulated, empowered, self-loving, self-honoring place? Or is it possible it's coming from this place of more like chaos? I gotta go, I gotta do, I gotta make it happen. I'm chasing this like rat race hustle mentality. And so if you are able to recognize that that's what's happening and pull out of those stories, what happens is you start to regulate your system and realize you only have so much capacity. You only have so much energy. And so what we ought to be doing if we want to actually be productive is slowing down, learning how to regulate, and making a list of everything that we've got going on and removing what just doesn't need to be there. Because what I have found almost every single time working with people one-on-one is half or more of what's on our list doesn't even need to be there. It's actually noise or chaos.
Yeah, totally.
Once we do that, then we can actually focus on the things that really matter to us, which is what helps us to soar and fly and actually be productive in a way that like is more soul filling.
Yeah, totally. Well, and you're so right. I always say to my clients that we will forever have 1,000 things on our to-do list. And as a business owner, you kind of just have to get comfortable with that. Like right now, I could truly think of 500 things that I could do today, but I look at it and say, this is not something that needs to be done literally even in the next 6 months. Like this is not actually necessary. It is just noise. And basically having to be able to triage that list and say, these are the top 5 things that need to be done here. Do you think this comes back to self-worth that we have, to productivity, or you think it's different for every person as to why we feel that this has to be that way?
I think it's twofold. I think that as humans, we have chaotic-based patterning, first and foremost, where even though we say we want this peaceful, grounded, easy life, our actions and our results are showing us that we're actually more addicted to chaos and to doing and to going and to hustling and being busy. It's like a badge of honor to be like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm busy, right? Like that's what we say. We're busy, right? So I think there's that piece that's going on for all of us at some level until we learn how to pull out of it and reprogram the system to remember that it's safe to actually be calm, to be at peace, to be in flow, and that's actually where more of the magic, miracles, opportunities, abundance, things like that happen. But I also think at the same time, to your point, there's deeper dynamics and patterns that have to do with our worth. And a lot of times what's going on underneath the surface is, even though, again, I say I want to make $1 million, I say I want to live in this house on the ocean, I say I want all these things, or a relationship or whatever it is, But in reality, my system is like, we don't feel good enough for that. And as long as that's still running underneath the surface, we're not going to really allow those things to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to say when I was deep into my overworking days, as people would ask me how things were going, and this was in a different business, and I would say, well, I'd rather be busy than bored, so like I'm good.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like my coping mechanism to just be like, you know what, I'm busy, but like this is what I enjoy, this is what I like. And now I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love being bored. And I'm never actually bored, but I actually now enjoy doing nothing. And it took me a really long time to get there. And I really do think, like, really, if I were to dig deep into it, is I had so much of my self-worth tied to being productive, achieving things, getting all of these done. And now I have been able to build just this more balanced state that it doesn't always have to be busy in order for A, things to be moving forward, and B, for me to actually be good and okay as a person. Busy isn't always like dictator of what is actually happening here. There's going to be seasons in business, especially like a lot of the people listening are product-based business owners. We're approaching fast Q4 where it is just a busy season in business because we have the holidays and it's busy for a normal person, let alone a business owner and an e-com business owner. During those busy seasons, I think we can often say, shoot, like you almost feel like a failure when you are working on these things because you are so busy. What do you recommend people doing where it's like, okay, the difference between this is a busy season and I'm actually overwhelmed and burnt out? And how do you kind of navigate those busy seasons just in life in general?
Yeah, so I think, again, it's twofold. First, you have to make a decision with inside of yourself that you actually want to be more regulated and grounded and do things differently in your life and your business. Yeah. Meaning I want to come from more of an empowered place versus a disempowered place of giving my power away and spinning around, kind of going around and around on this hamster wheel to like Nowheresville a lot of the time because it's just chaos, right? So that's the first step. The next is to really get clear, kind of building off what I had said a minute ago on like what really matters to you. So a lot of the work that I do with my clients is like, what is your actual intention? A lot of people are just going. They wake up, it's like, you don't understand. I got a list. I got to go. But it's like, what's your intention for the list? Like, what's your intention for what you're doing?
Yeah, what's the long-term really goal here?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you might be able to answer the question, but then what I like to do is like pull strings and go deeper and to get to the real, because a lot of times it's not what you really think it is. So the more clear you become on what your actual intention is, and then from there, what is your current focus? So I constantly have myself and my clients, we have 3 to 5 things that are on our current focus list, meaning I can't focus on more than 5 at a time. To your point, some things need to go on a year-long list, a 6-month-long list, a 10-year-long list, whatever it is, and you can renegotiate with yourself at any time.
Yeah.
But if you know that you don't want to do chaos anymore, you want regulation, you want grounding, you want empowered, then the next thing is learning processes to do that, but then getting clear on what really matters to you, what your intention is, and then 3 to 5 areas. And what those become is like a guiding light to help you in a busy season. Because in a busy season, you're going to get pulled here, you're going to get pulled there, you're going to get pulled there. And again, it's sometimes it can feel like that. But if you're grounded in what your intention is and what your current focus is, it's easier to be like, oh, no, thank you there. No, thank you there. Hold there. Let me get back to you there so that you can stay focused on what it is that actually matters to you and focused on your actual intention. And then, of course, from there, you've also got to be delegating and having boundaries and like managing the part of your mind that's like, it's a busy season. That means I have to work till 3 a.m. No, it doesn't. Yeah. That's a choice. And that's 100%. Like typically where we get into overwhelm. And I think if people understood that once you get into overwhelm and burnout, you might as well just sort of go to bed and shut the door because you're not actually productive in those ways. So the idea is to slow it down enough so you don't have to get to that place so you can actually keep the momentum and stay productive versus when you get into overwhelm or burnout, oftentimes people have to take like massive long breaks. It's like our health, right? Everyone's kind of doing the thing, pushing until we get, a health scare comes and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like now I'll be good. Now I'll stop. And it's like, it's like too late. Now you have to take the time off, right? So yeah.
100%. I can totally see that. And I think that's a really good framework to look at it is first, what is your ultimate goal? Because you would be shocked, you wouldn't be, but an average person would be shocked how many people I talk to that when I ask them, what are their 3, 5, 10-year plan in their business? Or just like, what is your ultimate goal here?
Yes.
They have no idea. They're just building. They're just hoping for growth, which actually really slows down your growth overall. And like you said, it's hard to actually even dictate what you should be doing. If you're just trying to grow, your options are endless, which then again gets more overwhelming. And then you decide on those, I call them non-negotiables, like the 3 to 5 non-negotiables you're either doing every week, every month, every day, whatever it might be for you that needs to get done, that actually moves the needle, and everything else is either noise or bonus if you can really get it done. What I hear a lot in this conversation when we talk about burnout or overwhelm or nervous system regulation, what I love that you said is it really is a decision for change, but it also is a lot of like time management. It's like a very flow conversation that you're having. You're like, how do I be more zen in business? How do I enjoy this more? And the answer a lot of times is adding a little bit more structure to certain areas that allow for you to be zen in the off times, or for you to basically just be able to triage what you have to do and put structure to the things that actually need to be done, which I think is really interesting because a lot of times this topic is, well, just like take time for yourself. And people's answer always ends up coming back to, well, I don't have time for myself. And I think that's people's first initial reaction when you start talking about this is, well, if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? How is it actually going to get done? What do you say to people that are like, well, I actually do need to get all of this done in a day?
I would challenge to be like, where is it actually? Sometimes I even have a conversation with myself, like, is that life or death?
Yeah.
No, take it off.
Yes.
Because I'm committed to having a more regulated, calm life at this point, because I've already done all the things, right? And like burned myself out multiple times. So it's like, why would I do that again? Right? So, but remember, this kind of comes back to what we originally said. You're creating in every moment. Whether you realize it or not, it's what's happening. So and wherever you create from determines your results. So if you get up and you're like, I gotta go, I got a list, I gotta do, you're creating from that intense, anxious, overwhelmed place, like lack. I gotta go, I gotta do, I gotta get, I gotta reach, I gotta, it's like, and so you're getting more of those results.
Yeah.
And so, and don't take my word for it. Like for anyone listening, do an audit on your life. And all you have to do is take a minute, like literally 1 minute, take a deep breath and just look at your results. Look at how your day-to-day shows up. How do you feel in your body? Your body will never lie to you.
Yeah.
It will tell you. If you're feeling calm and relaxed and grounded, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed and tight and tense and stressed, your body's trying to talk to you. So what I like to help people with here, and I get that this can be frustrating to hear sometimes, it has been for me too, but this is the slower is faster approach.
Yeah.
So the ego and the mind are like, no, you don't understand. I got a list. Well, I got a list too. I get it, right? I've always had a list. I've been an entrepreneur like my entire life. So I do understand that. But if I'm like giving my power away to my list and it's whipping me around and I have no, I'm like a puppet on my list string, I'm not really doing what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
So if I slow down though, for the purpose of actually getting grounded and making myself a priority, so I start making my decisions from my heart, from my power, from my truth, guess what? I get to actually start moving towards the goal. So if you're not in your power and you're in a chaotic spot, you're going, ooh, detour, lesson, fall, failure, things. And nothing, these things aren't bad. They're not wrong. It's just, they take more time. Ooh, I got to learn that lesson again. Ooh, I got to learn that lesson again. Ooh, I got to learn that lesson again, which again, I've done that many times. Yeah. I've learned from them all. But now what I've learned is, whoa, hold on. Maybe if I slow down a little bit, just go a little slower, I actually regulate my system first. I get more intentional, which by the way, doesn't take that long. For anyone that's like, I don't have time for this. You don't have 10 minutes a day for yourself. Right? So that's a question you want to start asking. But if I slow down, what happens is like, because I'm more intentional and I'm more present and I'm more aware, I get pulled into this detour, but I'm like, oh no, I'm aware enough to know I don't have to do that back. So I'm going a little slower, but I'm actually going faster because I'm staying on the path.
Yeah.
And this kind of comes back to like almost thinking about the airplane analogy. For anyone who's like, I don't have time for myself. Well, think about the airplane analogy. It's so simple and so accurate. Like if you don't take time to put your mask on, how are you actually showing up in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really great. And what you said there is that slower actually can be faster. And I gave a TED talk on this topic last April, and
Nice.
I was explaining to somebody about how my philosophy is like, if you actually take more time away, your business will actually flourish. And she was like, oh, so you're teaching like a slow growth approach to business. I was like, no, not at all. Actually, it sounds like it's slow because in your mind, being a business owner means that you need to be working all day long and never take time for yourself. That's your own story that you're telling.
Yes.
In order for you to actually be productive, achieve your goals, and still enjoy your true life, all you have to do is the more time that you prioritize yourself, it actually makes your 3 hours that you want to work that day more productive. And you see this a lot with like new moms. They say, I don't even know what I was doing with my time before because I do it all now in like 2 hours a day. All of a sudden, I'm doing all of these other things and I'm still doing the exact same stuff that I've been doing before because you basically just shrink down and you're actually productive. You're actually being productive in those 2 hours where sometimes I think about my day and I'm like, what did I actually do today? Even myself still, I'm like, oh, I scrolled on my phone. Like, you know, I created this video. Maybe I made some Instagram stories. I was looking at some data. And you seem like you're busy and you're working all day. But at the end of the day, if I had to cut out the stuff that I really didn't need to do today, I could jam it into 2 to 3 hours. And I think that is where people disregard the fact that we do have a lot of noise on our list. And I always say, if you feel like you have to do everything, odds are you really don't know what you actually have to be doing.
That, and you're not being super present with your time and your choices.
Yeah.
So think about the person who's like, gosh, I just got home and I don't even remember how I got home. How did I even get home from work? Because you were in your body. Right? And again, we're all human. We all have this, myself included. It's not wrong or right. It's just what is. The most productive time you're ever going to have is when you're present and in your body, period, end of discussion. Like there's no argument to that because you're actually aware, which means I'm aware that I just went to go scroll. I'm aware that I went to do this and I can pull myself back and say, no, we're going to actually do the thing.
Yeah.
But when I'm not present, I like literally leave my body and I'm not even aware of what I'm doing. And then I'm like, I don't have time. But I chose my time. I chose, and you do have choice. You have free will. So anyone that's thinking they don't have choice, that's your ego convincing me that you're a victim, that you're backed into a corner. And I get it. I've been there too. It's just not true. The reality is you have free will in any single moment to say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to like participate in this anymore. So when you really learn how powerful you truly are and that you have choice and free will in every single moment to decide and like be in that moment and choose it, it will change your life in a way, your life and your business, your finances, your relationships in a way you didn't even know was possible.
Totally. You just like, you don't actually understand the bliss that life can be until you start to make that decision. And it's going to take a change. Like you said, at a certain point, you do have to make decisions because not everything is going to stay the same. You do have to make changes with how you spend your time or who you talk to, or maybe the offers that you have in your business or whatever that looks like. But it is for having both or having all of it. So instead of having to do it all, you actually end up having it all to be able to enjoy your life, it actually achieve the goals that you want and be able to enjoy it while you do it. I think nervous system regulation is a conversation. It's like a topic. It's kind of a buzzword right now that I'm seeing a lot of it. What do you actually define nervous system regulation, or how do you pinpoint even people that might be dysregulated and they don't even know it?
I base it off of, again, two things: how the person feels in the body and their reaction point. So if you're dysregulated, it's going to be typically very tight, anxious, this kind of harsh thing going on in the body. This is why it's an epidemic. Anxiety is an epidemic in our society. And then I can tell almost immediately, I can sense whether someone's anxious or what's going on just by like the way that they're kind of being, even if they aren't saying anything. But then from there, it's their reaction point. So when you're dysregulated, everything, it's like you're so like, what? No, yes, like, you know, and it's very reactive, or like, I have to make this decision now.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you though? Do you though?
Yeah.
And when you're regulated, it's just calm.
Yeah.
It's just simple. You're in your power, which means no one's going to tell me when I'm going to make a decision or when I'm not going to make a decision. I will make the decision when I feel ready to make the decision because I feel ready to make the decision. So again, I'm not giving my power away. Let's say there's a deadline this to me is like a hack. When you feel like there's a deadline or I said this, it's like, okay, then what else is possible? And when you're in your power and you're in your body and your nervous system is regulated, it's like anything becomes possible. Like any idea, Madison, what if we did it this way? And then you're like, oh, I actually like that idea better.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine again, we're creating in every moment, ego or heart, fear or love, chaos or calm, lack or abundance. If you're coming more from the ego, lack and limitation. So just imagine, and for those of you, if you can't see this, I'm putting my hands up against my eyes and like, imagine you just are in this tunnel. Yeah. And in front of you, all you see is what's in front of you. So I only have this option. I have a call with Madison at 3:30. And if I don't make it, she's never going to talk to me again. Right? Or if this happens, then this is never going to work. If I don't show up, if I don't do it this way, that's the only option. And now I'm stuck. And this is it. So that's coming from this ego-based lack mentality place. But when you realize that that's actually an illusion, you take back your power, you get into your body, you regulate your system, and now you're kind of like, wait a second, I'm actually really powerful, which means I have access to infinite possibilities. So what happens is this whole tunnel vision starts to open up all around you. And now you just look around and there's like possibility, 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 miracle, possibility. And now anything's possible. So now from this point, you never have to do anything you don't want to do again, technically. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're only promised this moment. None of us were promised 80 years. We weren't promised a picket fence. We weren't promised any of it. We were promised this moment. So when you can learn how to be in this moment and be in your power and make your decisions moment to moment, that is when you are going to actually start living the life of your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really powerful. I mean, and also, why sacrifice the positivity and the abundance that you can feel in one moment for like who knows in the future? And it's something that when I started this business, because I had already run a business and I was super burnt out and it was a lot, I said, I will never get to that point again. It was my deciding point. When I started my own business, I said, this is the thing that I will be able to make my decisions on. And when I start to feel that pressure, that lack, that scarcity, oftentimes all it is, oh, it's a noticing of like, wow, I don't need to feel this way right now. Or, oh, wow, like it's a decision that you make inside of yourself. It's a curiosity of truly just challenging the current state that you feel and saying, how can things look different? How can I do this in a different way? And it's really a lifelong process because there's going to be things that pop up and all of a sudden you have a really busy season or your life is really busy and you're still running business or business is busy and life has to take a back seat. And there's always going to be these moments of you having to challenge what's actually happening. Is this all necessary? Do I actually have to be doing this? And sometimes I do it. And then the next week, I'm like, wow, I literally am working like 2 to 3 hours this week. What was I doing last week? How did I actually get to that point of feeling so incredibly busy and overwhelmed? And when you strip it down to just doing the bare minimum to get by and to grow in the non-negotiables, it doesn't always actually have to take that much time off of your plate. And then you can add in those bonus pieces if you want to, or you can add in fun into your life too, which I think a lot of business owners are just never actually doing. If it's okay, I'm going to interrupt this podcast for 30 quick seconds to let you know about the Founders Cafe. It is my completely free podcast community where you can gain access to bonus resources, gain access to me and free coaching calls, as well as build a network of other business owners just like yourself. Business ownership is a lonely game, and we might as well build community, build a network, and have a space to collaborate. We can bring this conversation and all the other conversations we have on this podcast over into this free podcast community and make this a two-way street. I would love to answer your questions there, connect with you, see you on our next free coaching call. Click the link in the show notes and you'll find the link there.
Everything kind of comes down to the meanings we give. So if something happens in my business or my life or my relationship and I give it the meaning that it's bad or that it's wrong or that I'm limited, there it is. Yeah. But if I choose to take away the meaning, meaning it doesn't really mean anything, and I choose something different, then I'm free, right? And so if you can just be aware of the meanings that your mind is given to what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing or what happened, like I lost some money, I didn't get the client, I'm in some debt. If it doesn't mean anything, then it doesn't mean anything, and then you get to move on and get to the solution.
Yeah.
Right? And so that piece, it's changed my life, to be honest. Because again, it's either I'm giving my power away by deciding this thing is bad and it's wrong, or I'm taking my power back and saying, okay, that happened. I'm going to learn from it. but it doesn't have to mean anything about who I am. So now I get to go back to like making a new decision and doing that thing that actually feels good.
Yeah. I see that as a pattern with some of my more successful clients is they've actually taken the emotion out of a lot of building a business where they don't feel emotion. If a launch doesn't go as well, the question isn't like, wow, I must be a terrible person. And it's much more around, wow, why? What happened there? What did we do differently? How can I make sure that that never happens again? Where you take the emotion out of it and it much more is just practical, the strategy. How do we change it and make sure it never happens again? And you don't have to sit in that feeling of, wow, this is my fault and people must hate me. Like this must be something that I did, because very often it's not a personal attack. Nothing in business very rarely is actually a personal attack. It is something that we just either missed or did wrong or something that's changing that we just have to learn from and kind of keep moving. Is there anything that you have found in successful people that you feel like are a little bit more calm, more successful? Like what are their daily habits or rituals, or just like what are they doing differently in order to feel that way and be that way?
Well, it kind of just goes back to what we've been talking about. So it starts with, first and foremost, like the person who has finally decided to leave chaos behind and step into more calm. That also comes with making yourself a priority. Meaning I'm no longer going to sacrifice myself, self-abandon myself for my company, for my business, for my finances, for anybody.
Yeah.
For that matter. Because now we can actually get to work. Now we can actually start learning how to regulate your system. What I do is a lot of journal practice. I have a practice that I go deeper in with my thoughts, with my emotions, with all of that to make sure that I'm like processing it so I can get on the other side of it. I meditate every day. I have practices throughout the day where I'm really just being aware of my thoughts and aware of my energy and what's going on, checking in. Like instead of just like, oh, I said I would do this list. It's like, no, what's in my highest right now? Yeah. So I'm moment to moment asking myself. And I think the people who do what I'm speaking about and they're in the moment because they're regulated now, which means they can catch when they're going into a chaotic cycle. And they're like, but wait a second, I said I was doing this, but something feels off. What's actually in my highest right now? Those are the most productive people. Those are the people who fly because they're using their intuition. They're using their inner compass. They're using that empowered part of self to manage and make decisions that like most wouldn't even ever be able to make because they're just not connected to that part of themselves.
Yeah.
This all gets to be easier if we let it. It all gets to be simpler if we let it. But again, it's a choice. And so it's going back to, and I think this was the other thing I wanted to share, is like remembering if the system is addicted to chaos, then you're addicted to chaos and that's what you're going to create. So you can have high level manifestations, goals, intentions, whatever that is. But at the end of the day, your nervous system is what is going to run the show. So what that means is if your nervous system under the surface, whether you're aware of it or not, is just like, I like chaos, I like chaos, I like hard, I have a list, I hustle, I go, I'm a victim, things are happening to me, my life is really hard, you don't understand, my life is harder. If you've got that going on, then you just create more of that. And again, it's not wrong or right. It's just what it is.
Yes.
Like attracts like. But if you learn how to slow it down and actually remind your system that it's safe to be calm, then all of a sudden your everything starts to shift. And then the things that you actually want, bringing it back to this worthiness piece, not only do you get to attract them in and manifest them and then receive them because you feel good enough, but the most important piece is you actually get to sustain them.
Yeah.
Meaning like enjoy it in the moment, because again, we only have this moment anyway, versus like, I got it, I'm going on to the next. I got it, I'm going on to the next. I got it, I'm going on to the next. And then, you know, they've done studies with people that are like in their 90s who are passing away that like across the board, one of the biggest regrets is that they were not present in their life.
Yeah.
They didn't enjoy it in the moment. Yeah. And then now it's over like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think when I talk to people about simplifying the things on their list, it's almost an immediate, they're like nervous.
Yeah. But I need those things. Yeah.
I know. It's like, I need to do that. And I think the immediate thing is like, what else are they going to do? People are like, so what do you do in your free time? I'm like, whatever I want to do. Like, you know, you can go to the bookstore, you can go do yoga, you can hang out with your family, play board games, like the things that you actually want to do in your real life. I had a mindset coach once tell me, like, make your business the least sexy thing about you. Make it the least interesting thing about you, because everything else then becomes your priority and your business stuff is still getting done. And it doesn't need to be your lowest priority in your life, but it means that you have so much more to your life than just your business. Because as business owners, I fall victim to it all the time, is that I love being a business owner and I love what I do. And I can say your identity does get wrapped into your business, but if you allow it too much and something happens or you lose interest in it over time, then you're sitting there wrapped up into, do I have a life without this? Am I stuck in this business? Do I need to do it forever? Or you kind of start grappling with that. And I think that's a lot of people's biggest, they're like, well, what do you do with your time? If I don't have this, like, who am I? What do I do? Am I just going to watch TV? And it's always the thing that people say, oh, I don't watch TV like at all. It's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with binging an episode.
Yeah. What's really going on is it's uncomfortable to slow down.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's like, if I'm not pushing myself and distracting myself all day, then I'm going to sit here and I'm going to feel something uncomfortable. So that's actually what I help people with, is learn how to pull out of these patterns and actually learn how to feel your feelings. Because the reality is they're coming up whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
You can push them down, and that's usually what causes disease and chaos and overwhelm and stress. Or you can learn how to work with them. Yeah. And remember that they're not trying to hurt you. They're just feelings. They come, they go, they pass. They just want to be acknowledged by you. And when you do that, you actually step more into this empowered place. Yeah. But that's what we're really learning how to do. Part of my mission is to help the world remember that it's safe to be slower. It's safe to be uncomfortable. We actually grow the most through the uncomfort. But it's reprogramming the system to know that it's safe to be in stillness. It's safe to be quiet. And then if you're wondering what you're going to do, what happens is when you actually let yourself have the stillness, this is where your intuition is the most powerful. Ideas are going to come. Maybe you want to all of a sudden take singing lessons, or maybe all of a sudden you want to write a book, or maybe you're going to start a podcast, or maybe you're going on this trip that's going to change your life, but you actually have the capacity to do it. But it is a process. I'll tell a really quick story. So I was a hairstylist for 17 years. I owned a salon in downtown San Diego for 5.5. And my whole life was just, the days were so long. Everyone needed me. There was chaos. There was everyone needed me. And I had this list, and I sold the salon in 2017. And I wondered at the time, I wonder if I'm going to regret this, because it was a big part of my identity at the time. So what's interesting is I never regretted it, but what I didn't expect on the heels of it was the copious amounts of anxiety that I felt for not having all these things to do. So at the time, I would literally put Target, organized closet again, go sit down at the beach, watch a movie. I'd have to do that because my mind was so wanting to go.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't slow down because it was so used to going. So I had to really learn how to slow it down. And how I really got the lesson is at that time, I was actually getting married for the second time in my life. And I ended up marrying the wrong person. And my marriage lasted for 4 months. And that was my wake-up call in my mid-30s of maybe it's time to stop running from my fears and running from my feelings and running from this feeling of uncomfortable. Because instead of just sitting in the uncomfort of what I was feeling, I was no, I'm going to plan a wedding and run into this experience that had signs all over it. Now, I don't regret it. That's a story for another time. I learned so much from it. But I did actually learn that when we're actually slowing down and we allow ourselves to feel that uncomfort, we can make higher level choices versus if we're not, we're actually making lower level choices that typically will have a result that comes with a little bit more of a consequence.
Absolutely. If you're operating out of fear and scarcity, your decisions are going to be out of fear and scarcity too. It's something that I call my friends on all the time. It's hey, no, you don't need to take that client, even if you don't enjoy working with them, just because you want an extra $5,000 or, you don't need to take that opportunity. Money's going to come from you at all angles. You get to decide where it actually feels good and aligned for you. And I think that's really powerful, is it really is just understanding that a lot of times it comes with a wake-up call. For me, it was, I literally wanted to crawl into a hobbit hole for 3 months and didn't want to talk to a single person. And I am the most extroverted individual. I get energy from the cashier at the grocery store. And when I was no, I actually don't want to see a single person for months, I knew something in my day-to-day was wrong. I had to go back and kind of change it. And I made an episode on this months ago. Is recently I was talking to somebody and I said, I actually think I have 12 thoughts at once. I actually feel like I could be thinking of 12 things at one time. And somebody told me it wasn't normal. And I was like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean that's not normal? That's just how my brain works. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole of nervous system regulation. But what it really was is, like you said, you're just kind of filling your time all day. The minute I woke up, I would have either an audiobook on, a podcast on. Every walk, I would be listening to an audiobook, a podcast. Every moment I was cooking, I would have a movie on. There was not a single moment in my day that my brain didn't have input or output of a bunch of things. And I found when I started just going on a walk without a podcast or cooking dinner and just actually focusing on the dinner I was cooking, it went away. Like I actually retrained my brain into thinking about one thing at once. And oftentimes it's little changes like that that really do make a big difference with this.
Yes, it's huge. It's life-changing because the reality is it doesn't have to be as hard as it feels. It can actually be easier. That doesn't mean there's not challenging moments, because there are. But when you learn how to become a high-level navigator, they become easier to just like manage and then move on and then go back to like just experience things with more ease and more flow and more grace and more calm and peace. And it's taken me a lot of years to get to that place, but there's nothing that compares to it. It's like the most amazing feeling I've ever felt.
Absolutely. And for a long time, I'm a very strategy-oriented brain, and everybody listening knows that. My brain is very builder. I want to make a checklist and go. But the more that I built my business, the more that I realized I needed to be more mindset-oriented, because I couldn't out-strategize my fears, my insecurities, and the different lacks that I had.
Well said. Well said.
And how much do you feel that business growth is actually mindset over strategy? Or how do you really find that we have to balance those two things?
I mean, not everyone's going to agree with this, but I think, again, it all comes down to mindset. It all comes down to your come from. As a human, you're making decisions moment to moment. You just are. But as a business owner, you're making so many big decisions. And again, where's your come from? So if my mindset is all a mess and I'm a failure and I'm in chaos and I'm in limitation and I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills and I don't know, and this client doesn't like me and that's going on and whatever, and then now I'm going to make a high level decision from that place, I would rather stop what I'm doing and not make a decision at all, because I've made enough decisions from that place and had to roll around in some shit. It's like I always say, it's like you're creating shit from shit. Yeah. Just stop. You're better to just stop. The second you recognize you're in some sort of cycle like that, stop what you're doing, put down the phone, put down the list, close the laptop, go on a walk, take some breaths, get back in your body, and then see what the decision is. Because now that decision becomes, again, high level. So I think mindset and nervous system regulation is number one, period. Yeah. Then strategy. Because then you're actually getting high level strategy versus low level strategy. It's like, where's your strategy coming from? Wherever it's coming from is going to determine your results. So again, for anyone listening, it's like, just take a minute and look at your results. If you're loving your results and they're just in flow and you're feeling good and you got time for you, time for your family, it's all whatever, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're not feeling that way and you're feeling stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like, why does that same thing keep happening? Why do I keep running into the same wall? It's because of what we're talking about right now. And the good news is there's a solution. That's the good news.
And the solution really is blissful once you get there. Is like, it really can make such a difference. I think it's so important to really dive deep into how do you feel at the end of the day? Because I think a lot of people think that they're living the dream, or they think this is just what being a business owner has to be. So, and I hear that excuse a lot. Oh, I'm a business owner. Like, it's just how the life has to be. And that is the narrative out there. You listen to the Hormozis or you listen to some of these people and they're like, no, your life should suck for 50% of the time. And it just doesn't need to be that way. And there's just so much more out there for people. Randi, this has been such a great conversation. If there is something that you feel like we didn't touch on or something that you really want to reiterate that is kind of one of your core philosophies, what is something within this realm of nervous system regulation, mindset, confidence, all of that in business? What is something that you would like to kind of impart before we close up today?
I would just say, just to remember how truly, truly powerful you are.
Yeah.
And that you are creating in every moment. And if you're creating something you don't like, you can change it like that. Right? Yeah. So if you happen to be giving your power away to lack or fear or chaos, just remember that it's your power and you can take it back any moment you want. Literally like that. Now, you might have to do that 1,000 times over and over again. I know I have, and I continue to do it. But when you do that process, you will start to remember how powerful you are, and you will start to change your choices. And when you change your choices, you get changed results.
Yeah, I love that. Randi, where can people find you? I know we're going to put some resources down in the show notes for you, but where can people find you? Your Instagram, anywhere that they can contact you if they want to find out more.
So it's pretty simple. It's just my name, Randi Halaway. It's spelled a little uniquely, so it's Randi, and then Halaway, Halaway, but that's my Instagram handle, my website. Anyone who wants to reach out if they have a question or want to connect, I'm happy to chat and connect.
Yeah, we'll put all the links below too. Thank you so much for being here. This has been lovely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Business Growth Podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. So if you love this one, make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a conversation. If you want more conversations with me and other business owners, make sure that you join our completely free podcast community, the Founders Cafe. The link is in the show notes. You can get bonus resources, access to free coaching calls, as well as connect with like-minded business owners like yourself. Make sure that you rate and review the podcast 5 stars, share it with a friend to keep those conversations moving, and come back every Tuesday and Friday. I'll see you there.